Welcome everybody that's listening. This is Neurotransformations, where we discuss stories of healing and transformations. I am very lucky to be able to introduce you to Corbin, who has dealt with TBIs and traumatic brain injuries in the past. And I'm really, really super excited to be able to interview him and learn more about his story and what got him where he is. And I've followed Corbin's stuff on Instagram for 2 or 3 months now, and I really it's just something about his page that kind of resonated with me, and I decided to reach out to him, and I want to have him on, and this is a very important conversation. Anyhow, Corbin, how you doing today? What's going on with you?
I'm doing very well, man. Thank you very much for having me. I've been pretty excited all day to share my story, and yeah, thanks, Brody.
Absolutely, man. And I first wanted to ask you, can you go back over your lifespan and kind of just tell us where you're from, where you grew up, what happened to you growing up through high school and all that, and what just kind of tell us more about your traumatic brain injuries?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, I live in Kelowna, BC, Canada right now. I was born in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Um, but I've lived here basically all my life for the past 2 decades. Um, and I suffered my brain injury about 6 years ago, and it's a pretty short, simple story. I was drinking. I was young, dumb, and drunk. I fell out of a tree. Uh, Fell into a coma for a month. I woke up. I had to relearn walking, talking, basically everything to live independently. Um, yeah, it's been quite a journey I've been on these past 6 years, but I mean, I'm learning to love it. I love myself now more than ever. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I just like, I love life now. I see life so differently.
That's awesome, dude. Holy, pardon my French, but fuck, man, that's intense. Like a coma for how many days?
Well, I think it was 21 or something, but I just say a month.
Wow, man. And so when you were in this coma state, what was like the brain, what was going on with your brain? Do you know much about that?
Uh, I I don't know. I had some brain bleeding. Um, I I heard that I was doing some seizuring too, but I mean, I don't really know much. I don't remember anything. All I know is I woke up and I couldn't walk. I couldn't talk. It took me 4 months to even get on a walker, and then I was in a walker for another 4 months, and then I got discharged from the hospital after 4 months, but then I spent another 4 months in a rehabilitation home. And then when I got home to my actual home, I was living by myself, and I ended up using a cane for another couple of months. So it took 8 months. Uh, yeah, 8 months till I was back on my feet, walking again, and yeah, it's been.
Oh, whoa, man. Whoa. Like I get the chills just like thinking about that. Like I'm a brain surgery survivor, but like I've never been in a coma like that. I've have suffered from grand mal seizures, and but never to that type of severity. And like you being here alone, like being able to talk and not only talk, like talk formally and fluidly, that's like a testament. And I get chills too, because right after my brain surgery, the doctors told me that I was going to have to live with my brain injuries and brain traumas. And I wasn't going to, at that time, if you had spoken to me, I would have had trouble just putting together simple sentences to
Yeah.
you. But then, like, I learned about neuroplasticity and how that things could change, and that gave me hope. But what where down in the healing journey for you did you find out about brain, how neuroplasticity and
You
healing?
know what? I think I knew about neuroplasticity before I actually knew about it because ever since I woke up from my coma, like I knew or I believed. Belief is something I am really believe in. Um, but I knew I was going to be able to do all these things. I knew I was going to walk again, even though I was told I would never walk again. I knew I was going to talk, even though I told I was never going to talk again. Um, yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
No, yeah, deep down, right, like in your heart, you knew that you were going to walk and talk again, right?
Yeah.
The question was like, so there was just like intuition that you knew that things could change. And for me, it was like the same, because when the doctors told me that, hey, buddy, you're gonna have to live with this brain injuries, and how we cut out this piece of your brain, it was thought that the brain was fixed and it was not malleable. And but something told me in my heart, like, wait, these guys are full of shit, like, what's, like, how could they tell me that I'm not going to get better?
Yeah. I know it's you don't want to be hearing that kind of stuff.
Right, especially not from a doctor, where
Yeah.
doctors were like so conditioned by
Yeah.
their expertise, right?
I just wanted to prove all of them wrong. So
That's so cool, man. And what did the process look for you after those first 8 months?
uh well, at first, man, it was all about healing my physical body, like walking and all that. I've always been I've always loved going to the gym, getting exercise and all that. So that was my number one thing. Um but once I did that and I got all my walking back, all that, I mean, my left side still isn't 100%. It's probably like 75 probably. But yeah, once the physical was all pretty much healed, it was the mental that I really struggled with. It's definitely, I would say, the mental pain is by far the worst kind of pain, man. When I started to get depression and all that, that was horrible. But I mean, that is probably the biggest blessing in the whole journey because depression has brought me to everything, man.
Dude, yeah, I can relate, because for a while there, I would look myself in the mirror and I hated myself. I hated who I was looking at, and I hated myself to the point where I would have like suicidal ideations and things like that. And
Yeah,
what's weird is sometimes I still get them, but it's not, I'm aware now. Like, I'm aware when those crazy thoughts come up. Like, I'm like, okay, this is just my lizard brain speaking. This is my survival brain speaking. It's not my higher executive functioning and my right here in the prefrontal cortex. This is not who I am, and I'm aware of that. And yeah, sometimes like the emotions, they stay, or the thoughts, they stay for longer than I want them to. But just knowing the fact about like simple things like neurotransmitters and the importance of being able to like change your levels of serotonin and dopamine and things like that, It was like I needed to learn the how, or like the science behind, in order for me to believe in the change. But it's all about belief, like you say.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
And I wanted to segue, what were some things that you learned along your healing journey? Like, what are some of the big takeaways that you had in this process?
I've learned a lot, man. Well, I like through all the books I've read, which is a lot. I probably read up to 100 books because I love learning. It's really good for the brain too. Um, but with meditation, breath work is amazing, man. I do that several times a day. Meditation, I start every day with meditation. I even end my days with meditation. I um, I really learned about how important nutrition is. So I'm on a pescatarian diet. So I mean that has been a game changer for me is nutrition. That's huge. Sleep is another one that's so huge. Um, I've there's so much. There's cold therapy too. I do that when I can. Saunas. I do that every time I go to the gym. So that's mostly every day. Um, yeah, I've learned so much, man. Like I don't know.
No, that's awesome, dude. Like that's fucking awesome. Like that's a lot, very similar to a lot of the things I learned. I want to know a little bit more of like about the pescatarian diet and what your thoughts on are that is.
So yeah, pescatarian diet. So basically, I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I eat fish, salmon, every second day or so because the omega-3 fatty acids are really good for the brain. I take omega-3 supplements too. Um, yeah, so I eat a lot of fish, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, some nuts I eat. Um, I've had to limit my nuts because I've dealt with kidney stones.
Oh yeah.
And I found out by my own research that it's high oxalate foods that do it to me. So, because since I was eating so much spinach, that's very high oxalate food. So I've had to pretty much completely eliminate spinach. Like I thought I was just doing something really good for me, right?
Yeah.
But no, and which is kind of shitty. Like the doctors didn't tell me about that. Like I had to figure it all out myself. Like almonds, I can't eat as much because those are very high oxalates. Dark chocolate, I still eat a little bit just because the benefits on the brain, they're really good, and dark chocolate is amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I eat a lot of beans, um, kidney beans, chickpeas, garbanzo beans, just a lot of fruits, a lot of vegetables, man. I
Awesome.
don't know. I love it. It makes me feel so good, man. I've like I follow a lot of doctors who are very knowledgeable about the brain health. Like I don't know if you've heard about Dr. Daniel Amen.
I do know Dr. Raymond, yes.
Yeah, he is very good, and so I've taken a lot of his stuff to heart, and I yeah, I don't know, man. Anything that's good for my brain, I will eat, but basically that is the pescatarian diet. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's where I'm at right now.
That's wild about the spinach, because I eat a lot of spinach. I had no idea that it was full of, you said oxalates, right? And
Yeah, well, it's not everybody who deals with this. Like, have you ever had kidney stones or anything?
No, luckily not.
Yeah, well, if you do eat a lot of spinach, then it's probably not the oxalates you have to worry about. Um, I don't know how common that is, but yeah, I figured that out, and yeah, like I said, I thought I was eating really healthy, which I was, but it was just doing a lot of damage, I guess, to my kidneys.
That's crazy, man. I personally don't do a lot of as much research as I would like about certain things like that because I want to get into blood testing and doing things that would give me some metrics about like where certain things are with my blood and heart rate or not heart rate, but like blood pressure and other things that they can test that you can do so easily today. Um, I just have never gotten into it as much as I would like to.
Yeah.
What what do you when it comes to breath work, like what does your process look like?
So, like I said, every day I start my day with meditation and then I do breath work right away. And are you familiar with Wim Hof?
Yes.
Okay, well, I start my days using his breath work, the Wim Hof breath work every morning. Um, but I subscribe to a company from Canada called Othership Breathwork, and they've got a real variety of different kinds of breath work. Whether you want energy or you want to relax, like okay, if you breathe in through your nose and out through your nose, you do that, you can activate the parasympathetic nervous system, and then quick inhales and exhales through the mouth does the sympathetic nervous system. So I kind of like in the morning I will do the sympathetic and I'll get energized for the day. If I come home from work, I will do quickly a parasympathetic breath work, and yeah, I don't know. I just find like different breathing styles for any times of the day, and I love it, man. Like it's hard to explain, but I mean, I just love it. Like
That's so
breath,
cool.
man, breath is life.
Absolutely. Yeah. I didn't know so much about the nasal breathing. I didn't realize that it activated the parasympathetic nervous system. And then like the other thing you're talking about is like the quick holotropic breathing is what I
Yeah,
call it. It's like the Wim Hof and that activates the other the sympathetic nervous system, like kind of gets you wakened up, right?
yeah. I saw a couple nights ago on the Jimmy Fallon show about how people on TikTok. I don't know if you are on TikTok or whatnot, but people there is like a challenge about taping your mouth when you sleep, and he was saying how that's bad for your health. But I've been taping my mouth for the past 2 years, just solely focused on breathing in through my nose, and I've been having the best sleeps ever. And there is no research that says it's bad for your health. It's all good research that I've done, man. Like I am, I was blown away hearing that, but yeah, no, I'm a really big believer in nasal breathing, and I think it is very good for your health.
Yeah, well, dude, I checked out that this morning on your page and I was like, that's crazy that they would be saying that. Like, as you said, what I've never taped my mouth, but it's something I'm gonna start. I have it wear an Aura ring, which is like measures your sleep waves and sleep cycles. So you
Yeah.
get like immediate feedback of what you're doing that day before or what you're doing during the nighttime if that affects it. So I want to try that. Like you literally, like what do you tape your mouth with?
I just put a little piece of tape. I was given some special it's like medical tape, I guess. I was given it from other ship they sent to me about a year over a year ago, and I just put a little piece right here. And I don't know, I've been doing it for so long. I think my brain really knows that I to breathe in through the nose, so I don't really have a problem. I mean, sometimes I'll have to sneeze, and that's kind of weird. But yeah, I used to have a Fitbit too, which was telling me the how I slept, and I stopped wearing it. But I was down to like 40 beats a minute or something, the heart rate, and yeah, I don't like it's amazing, man.
I love this stuff. This is like my passion and like every some people would be hearing this and they would be so bored by it, but
Oh
to me
no,
this is like good music. It's when
yeah,
I talk
yeah,
about this and how to improve the brain and just being able to like learn I'm literally gonna try. I'm gonna try over the next couple weeks is figuring out how to do some more nasal breathing. I know that like the Navy SEALs, they talk about that type of stuff. That like when David Goggins is one guy, for example, he
even God,
yeah, he was talking about how like even in that state, like you don't want to panic when your heart's racing so quickly. So you got to find a way to like relax when it's like super intense. So he talked a little bit about I think nasal breathing about how that can uh how the SEALs they teach you that that can manage your heart rate and get you in that more parasympathetic system when shit hits the fan, like for guys like that.
yeah, you inhale for 4, you exhale for 8, and you do that a few times, and yeah, you're good to go.
That's so cool. I when I said David Goggins, it sounded like you knew who I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm on his book for the second time right now, and David Goggins is big big inspiration to me, man. Like his book, his story, it's amazing, and he just shows the power of the mind, man. Like, and I mean, I'm taking everything that he says and I'm running with it. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I'm actually oddly enough, I'm listening to it for the second time and I'm getting completely different with David Goggins, he's like the ultimate extreme, and then you have other guys like Daniel Amen and be like, hey, like kind of take it easy, do
yeah,
this. But like I can see both sides, but I don't want to push myself so bad that like my body just falls apart is kind of my fear.
yeah, no, for sure. I understand that, man, for sure.
Cool. Well, Corbin, what kind of goals do you have set for the future? What's in your mind?
Right now it's I've really got the trouble bug right now. Um, I want to see the world, man. I'm in love with nature. And there's so much nature in the world that I want to see, man. It's so big, and I mean, yeah, like I mean, I'm 30 now. I'm not getting any younger, so it's time to see the world, man. That's my goal.
Word, where you want to head first?
I'm going to South America to Ecuador to stay with my friends out there, and I'm gonna see how that goes, and then I don't know, man. I just go with the flow, man.
I love it.
Yeah.
Maybe I've been reading about this is off topic, but I was reading about the power of mushrooms recently, and not psychedelic mushrooms per se, but I'm talking about like different ones like lion's mane, and this new one that I'm trying is called turkey tail. And there's this documentary I was seeing how the mushrooms are like really good for neuroplasticity, and they even talked about how taking only 1/50th of a dose of psilocybin mushrooms, which is would not cause you to hallucinate or any of that stuff. If you only take 1/50th, apparently instead of an eighth, that would stimulate neuroplasticity, they were saying.
Okay, well, here I'll tell you something. So I have been microdosing psilocybin for the past, I would say, 2 years, and that's a 0.1 of a gram of psilocybin, 0.1 of a gram of lion's mane, and I've been doing that for a couple of years now, and it's amazing, man. I'm a big supporter in psychedelics, and I love all the like I've been doing a lot of research about the psychedelics since I've been so supportive of it, and yeah, no, I've just got a lot of hope for them, and they're they're really good stuff, man.
Dude, well, yeah, you hear it from the source. You hear it from a guy who was in a coma for a month, and look how he's talking. And most people would have no idea that anything ever happened to you, and that's
Yeah,
badass.
yeah, it's I don't know, psychedelics are like one of my biggest, I would say, like because I did do psychedelics before my injury in like a very recreational way,
Right.
um, like all the other drugs that I would do back in the day, and yeah, no, I had a few bad trips, what you would call bad trips, and now I do it all therapeutically, and there's so much positives that I can say now. My whole outlook on life, I almost uh, give it all to psychedelics, man. Like especially since I've been microdosing for a couple years now, and I've had a few months where I've stopped microdosing, and the difference from when I'm microdosing and when I'm not microdosing, it's pretty phenomenal, man. Like yeah, there's a big difference, and I'm truly a big supporter of psychedelics.
Awesome, dude. I love to hear it. I'm not in North where I live. It's decriminalized, but it's not 100%. I think that people are starting to wake up to the fact with weed. Weed is legal in a lot of states in the United States now, and microdosing eventually will, because it's like you said, it's a therapeutic effects. I
mm.
want to I want to try at some point in the future. Right now is kind of not the best time, but when it came to like your mindset going into the microdose, what do you kind of tell yourself to?
Well, you know, I mean, I've done bigger amounts, but rather than the microdose, so I knew like how small of amount I was taking, so I knew nothing was going to happen to me drastically. Um, I don't know, like when I got hit with depression, and I started my meditation, all that, like just from doing so much research, man, I was just so eager to find some ways to heal myself and snap me out of the depression. And microdosing was one of them. And yeah, I've never looked back, man. It's great.
That's awesome. Well, last couple questions I got for you is what would you tell somebody that's really going through depression right now and struggling? What would you tell them?
Well, first of all, I would say hold on. Don't don't do anything too drastic. Things do get better. Um, but before you go to the doctor and get prescribed meds or whatever, like try out a few different things, whether it's exercise, your nutrition, your sleep, meditation, breath work. There's plenty of things. I mean, even psychedelics, I mean, might not be something you're very comfortable with, but sometimes it's good to get out of that comfort zone. And yeah, that is another thing that I've really become accustomed to is getting out of my comfort zone. And whether it's cold showers, like I have ice cold showers, that really gets me out of my comfort zone. Breath work, I make sure I'm sitting down for meditations longer than I really want to. And I don't know, like, all I gotta say is just try a lot of things to find out what works for you best. I mean, I'm just saying what works for me, and that's basically everything. Um, but yeah, that's all I can really say.
Well said. Corbin, thank you so much for coming on to this. And I'm going to be um, just straight up with you. It was really cool. And I learned all this really interesting stuff. I'm going to try the breath work, the nasal breathing, and eventually at some point, some psilocybin along with the lion's mane and turkey tails. But yeah, genuinely appreciate you coming on, dude. And
I very much appreciate you having me, man. Thank you.